Chat, break gambling. Welcome to Budweiser Cup Series for the penultimate race of their Season 6 championship. That'll take place from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the second to last intermediate of the season before the season finale takes its course in Homestead, Florida. Whilst the qualifying, we are taking a quick look at the points. So after 16 races, it's still Jack Merkel with the lead, but not by much over Bryson Baker, only a 10-point difference. Hector Garcia still third place, but unfortunately he had a provo for tonight, so that championship hopes for the young driver will probably diminish. Fourth place, Bond Fisher, Shionoma P5, Trenor P6, Cooper Wall P7, Landalau P8, myself P9, and Greedon top 10. 2 races left, and this is about as exciting of a championship as we're about to get. So qualifying should be wrapped up right now. Got 10 seconds left, so we might as well look through the qualifying order. On pole, Kirsten Bell once again. This time, joining her on the front row is Chico Shionome. What a great qualifying for that 51 car. Trenor and Cooper Wall will be in row 2. Jack Merkel and GLP in row 3. Baker and Fisher P7 and 8 in row 4. And running out the grid will be Pinky Ponky. '81 laps tonight, pretty long race for your average league race on an intermediate. Usually leagues will go for 67 laps, but tonight will be 81. So that will guarantee a 2-stop strategy, and this was the original distance I ever used to run, but have since upgraded to 100 lap race on the intermediates. I did take a look at the I-9 because, well, I've ran this version before, and I'm gonna be frank, I'm not gonna say it'll be a snoozer, but it pretty much might be, not gonna lie. High mount grip, low tire heat, and it's pretty much a one flat for tire wear, so for simplicity's sake, but I'm just gonna call this the IndyCar I-9. So yeah, if there is some action, it's likely going to come from the pit stops. Two pit stops, like I mentioned, it is multi-car crash, and they do not use the pace car here, the usual stuff. Kirsten Bell, your race winner from last time out at Michigan International Speedway, practicing her pin entry is going to be crucial if this race goes a long way. And Baker set P2 in the championship, murdering Ponky on pit lane. He's gonna need to clutch up in tonight's race. 10 points behind Merkel. And with only a 9-car field tonight, every point is going to matter going into the final race. I'm gonna yell at someone real quick. It's likely GLP, but someone's bound to do it. Someone's bound to watch and drive, which I do not recommend. As a little side note, I am testing out new mic settings, so it sounds a bit louder than usual, then that's likely why I've been told by Zach Armstrong of Cheese with Me that I sound a bit quiet, and honestly, I did hear quite a bit of low audio coming from the mic, given how quiet I usually am. But hopefully, I got that fixed. I meant to display that in D3 Kansas while recording it, but unfortunately my game crashed and my recording got corrupted, so I was unable to tell whether or not my new mic settings worked. Got less than a minute until the green flag. They're doing many rituals, which we're just gonna ignore them. So Marco, 6 wins on the season, current championship leader, not by much. I presume it's because he has skipped races before, whilst I was probably in the earlier part of the season when I wasn't in here yet. So we shall wait and see when the green flag will come out. If I had to pick a champion, it's likely going to be Merkel, but Bryson Baker could always magically pull something out of his bum and win it all, I suppose. Merkel also bringing back the Greg Biffle car. He was meant to run this at Michigan, and while he technically did, he didn't make it to the green flag. So he after accidentally retiring from the side race. So he's going to run it again tonight, and we should be ready to go now. Yes, we are.
Drivers, to your cars.
Let me set up my pick cams while rating, and I'll switch over to the ticker once I'm ready. I did mention how the tire is meh. The drivers are saying otherwise. Probably being full throttle will have something to do with it. Alright, I should be ready now. Nine cars, pretty small field, but no excuse to not stream this, if I do say so myself. Base car wheels in. 9 cars will take the green flag with Kirsten Bell and Shinonome on the front row. It is time to gamble here at Vegas. Already a bit of ball smack for the 37, that's something you would not want on the starts here. Pinky Punky with the abomination that they call a race car, trying to make a move on Pavlon, but unable to do it down the backstretch, but making easy clearing in the turn 3. They'll pick up 6th place after that. Cooper again in the wall. Turn 4 is a little treacherous here, but he's got 80 laps to figure that out. For P2, Trenor in the Dr. Pepper Dodge, facing Shianome, who started on the front row, giving a bit of a bump draft to Kirsten Bell. Oh, Trenor really off the track, and we're gonna turn Shinonome. It's gonna be a single car, but also joining him is Bowen Fisher and the 12-2 single car spin, so no caution will be thrown. So Kirsten Bell will remain with the lead, but here comes Jack Ruggles to the inside into turn 3. And he will clear for the lead, trying to get every point possible. Behind them will be Pinky Punky versus Cooper Wall for 4th place, but it's going to make an easy overtake on entry into turn 1 for the 69 car. Dudley has strung a little bit, and of course the goobers that wrecked on the second lap now. And we already have a retirement, that being Bowen Fisher in the 12th car. P4 in the points if my memory isn't a goldfish. P4 in the championship, and that will cost them a chance for P3 potentially. Pinky Punky on the move already. Started P9 on the grid and is trying to make a move up to the podium places after 5 laps are completed. And he'll do so, taking the place away from Chenor, who is now under attack from Danny Pavlon. Isabel, I've noticed, she has backed off quite a bit from Merkel. She's not getting it to take the lead back and taking an awkward line down the backstretch and awkward setup into turn 3. I don't know what that was about. But Trenor looks to get back on the podium, unable to do so through 3 and 4, and will have to take a little while to build up a run strong enough to make a potential overtake. Cooper Wall just chilling, and Bryson Baker P2 championship. Spider already lose the draft, and that would not be great for him. Especially with an I-9 like this, you need the draft around Las Vegas. This is the 2014 version these drivers are racing on. Yeah, battle for third still. Trenor trying to make something work, but right now, although too much of a push into entry, but she's able to back up in time. And it's especially lucky because the hitboxes in this mod are a little bigger than what the visual bodies will represent, so you may look like you didn't hit them, but in reality you did. So always be careful when racing the NNC mod, especially in online competition. Ten laps down, pole sitter Kirsten Bell has surrendered the lead to Jack Merkel for the time being. And here comes Pinky Punky for P2. Slides up a little bit, and Trenor had speed, but had nowhere to take it. Forced to simmer down a little bit. I mentioned turn 4 being a little treacherous. Is the transition starting a little sooner than you would think, so that means the exits of the turn, especially when you're trying to power out to the corner and get it straightened up for the trial oval, it's flatter compared to this point of the track where it is at its highest in terms of banking. So right now you can kind of see it through the onboard camera, and that's and honestly your best point of reference when it comes to visualizing the difference of thinking through transitions as you enter and exit the corner. He tried to make a move on Merkel, but unable to do so that time, but that will allow Bell to make the move. Still side by side through the triangle. Trenor trying to go somewhere. Not able to get to the inside of Bell, but able to on Ponky for third place. JLP gonna have to pick a drafting partner, whether it be Ponky or Trenor. Right now, Ponky is someone I'm looking towards, given how they moved up through the field quite quickly. We've only done 15 laps, and they started the race in ninth, dead at last, and made a highest gain of up to P2, but has fallen back to third. So perhaps it is the tires kicking in. It is a guaranteed to stop race, but it's just a matter of when do you pit. Stragglers in the back, we got Cooper Wall. That's his most recent driver out to the draft, and Shinonome currently one lap down after the spin. They had on the second lap, and Bryson Baker. Not a good look for the championship. While one contender is on the back end of the field, the other contender is right at the head of the field after 17 laps are in the books. And I believe my game crashed. It in fact did. I'm going to kill myself. So give me a couple of minutes to be allowed to fall out, and going to dumb down my graphics a little bit for bringing it back to the action. Alright, should be back now, and hopefully it is corrected. So, I don't think much has changed. Ponky found himself up to second. Excuse me, it is Bell dropping down to third, but Pavlon and Trenor to fourth and fifth. And my game crashed again. I don't know what the hell happened here. I do apologize. um, so another 2 minutes will go by, unfortunately, without much coverage. Alright, now we should be good. Back to the action. Bell up the track, and not sure what was that, Bell. Bad net code according to the Discord communications. So Kirsten Bell falls down to fifth. So that would resort to a battle for third between Pavlon and Tranor. As Pocky is going for the lead, he has led a lap according to NR, showcasing him in P1. So he's likely just going to get the track position, that way he has the best position to go by. And when the first pit cycle happens, we're due for a pit stop quite soon actually. We are on lap 25 of 81 laps. I have to set this up again. So presuming that their complaints about tires are true, their single file train is the clear motive of the best way to save tires, although personally, if you are going to pit in a few laps, I suggest burning up your stuff, as Trenor nearly hits Pavlon, as Kirsten Bell will pounce on that opportunity to move up to fourth. And I presume she heard me because she is making use of her tires now, and we will expect her to pit within 2 or 3 laps or so when her tires are, if I can speak correctly, when her tires are all burnt up, we will expect her to pit in 2 or 3 laps. So we already have our first pit stop, that being Joseph Landy Pavlon in a 68 machine. He'll be the first to bring it down pit lane. 27 laps are completed from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Into his box he goes. We'll turn back to the action. About here to be Cooper Wall and Chikushu Noma 37 and 51 respectively, not on the same lap, but you might as well try to battle someone. Now there's a gap between P2 and P3, so not enough to break away the draft to say, but it is enough to maybe require Kirsten to push a little bit more before she has to pit. Sparkle has properly given up the lead now, and with experience, I would say that 33 laps is the most you can get out of a fuel tank, although I have seen people taking it up to 36 before, and on the intermediates. Assuming they saved out their tires, they're able to make up the difference on track with the fresher tires, and especially helps them on fuel. Turn back here, and I believe it is Kupawal, if I'm correct, that is close to running out on fuel. He'll have to pit soon. When you're alone, you use up more fuel, as opposed to draft, where you're able to lift a little bit here and then. Roll the car more into entry with the excess amount of speed. And here comes Merkel to the pits. It's gonna be Ponky as well. All the top 4 are coming in. Merkel has gained the lead on pit lane. And we're going to see out of these 4 cars who will get the best pit stop and get the track position, who will fall out of the draft, and where will GLP in the 68 car will stand after being the first to pit 6 laps ago now. So someone's too far left. So Merkel wins the race out of pit lane. It's going to be side-by-side battle for second with Punky and Bill. But Bell were able to get the better of Punky. And you saw GLP make the overtake for fourth on track. Now he's going to shoot up to second after being the first car to pit. But it is Merkel who has retaken a lead from Punky at pit entry, and JLP was not close enough to overtake him on the track. And Tranora back down pit lane, she is reporting that she was too close to the wall and she could not take left side tires. So that will force her to pit again. And with the amount of laps we've had run so far, 34 now completed. That is a big the fact that Merkel gets fronted by GLP is going to be a caution. It ran over the 24 car, giving Kirsten Bell the lead. Punky second, and this very much saved Tranor. It is Bell who wins the race back. Punky second. GLP third for the time being, but is likely going to get an EOL penalty. And Creeper Wall P5, so Merkel P4. That is 4 cars on the lead lap. I think Tranor was able to stay on the lead lap. No, they're a lap down. Take a look back. It is. That is not a good camera angle. Yeah, just straight up drove through him. We're gonna, if I can find him, go on board with him, hear his throttle inputs as he goes through turns 1 and 2. Now he did try to back off, but too little, too late. I'm bored with Merkel trying to see what he did into the corner. Backed up a little bit early, but it's what you have to do to save tires and potentially fuel. Probably not fuel, because given how late he was pitting. So it was likely just backing off to save tires, and GLP didn't know how slow Merkel was going to be. Merkel was going at a low point of 165 through turns 1 and 2 before the contact. So, 5 round of caution, pit lane will open this time, and I'm going to get my cameras in order. Pit lane open. Here is the field. And I presume everyone's going to pit again, probably for the sake of tires. Is the 51 a Shuno mistake along with Baker and Tranor? If I'm correct, no. So I believe they're just doing it to get the wave around, which is fair enough. So GLP will speed down the pit lane to guarantee himself a black flag, which I suppose is one way to do it. Merkel with a bit of disruption from Cooper Wall as he tried entering his box. Got two-tire call from both Bell and Punky. They'll remain 1-2, but everyone else has taken 4 tires. And Merkel now just getting out of the pits, likely for damage repair, sending it back. Last out of the pit queue. So Baker currently scored as the leader with Tronor second, and at least one of them will be EOL due to the fact that they're a lap down. Baker, as far as I knew, wasn't a lap down, so he probably was doing this strategically. Probably not the best strategy given the tire wear, but it is up for him to gamble on. He is P2 in the championship after all. Tronor down pit lane after gaining the wave around, then they'll be to the rear along with GLP. Currently now on to lap 39 of 81, and the first caution of the day has come from contact between GLP and Merkel. And trying to fight for the lead. GLP on older tires, trying to pound some Merkel, just wrecks him in the process, and right now he is admitting to the fault, as he should. Field is sorting the order, and we should be able to go green this time by about saying there's GLP. Going to complete 39 laps this time as we take the green flag. And still a one-stop strategy. And I suppose it'll stay that way. I don't expect anyone to try to gamble with a field call, but we are green, back underway from Las Vegas. Pretty poor start from Baker, and it's going to be Kirsten Bell shooting to the lead immediately, and yeah, Baker is just not at pace. He's going to drop EV all the way to the back of the grid, and that gamble will not pay off in the long term. Here comes Ponky to pounce for the lead. Cooper Wall, currently B3, has to watch from behind. It is Pinky Ponky who is taking the lead away from Kirsten Bell, as Cooper Wall will try to make his move for second place. Unable to do it that time around, and now he's under pressure from Chanor. Remember, under the green flag pit stop, she had a pit stop mistake, unable to take left side tires during her initial stop, and that caution saved her. She is back up into P4 on the lead lap. Game reports that 8 laps is the number of laps of how short these drivers are in regards to fuel, so yeah, that proves my point. I do not anticipate anyone trying a no-stop strategy from here on out, as we have breached the halfway points from Las Vegas Motor Speedway Budweiser Cup Series action. From the gambling capital, it is Pinky Ponky currently your leader, with Kirsten Bell second, Tronor third, Cooper Wall fourth, Jack Merkel fifth, Lady Pabla sixth, Shinonome seventh, and Bryson Baker in eighth. There's only one retirement from the speed of that being Bowen Fisher after a spin on the second lap. Move for second, Tranor versus Bell. Tranor has the preferred line, and she will sweep by. For second place, Wall will try to do the same for third place. He tried this once before. Will it work this time? Oh, he gets slide up, and that codes into Kirsten Bell. Just not what Kirsten Bell wanted after winning the most recent outing at Michigan. And it looked to be a Echo collision. And at least according to the driver of the 29 car, Kirsten Bell, Goober, which is the car, the cat on the car, has impeded her vision, blocking the monitor, and that is likely what caused Bell to clear herself in front of Wall. We could be wrong though, but personally I see it as it's just a little mistake, and it's more likely a neck collision more than an actual accident caused by her. So that takes her out of the running for the time being. Wall, who was third, drops back to fifth, and Tranor is pouncing on Ponky. Not cleared just yet. Ponky's gonna have a run on the outside, but I do believe Tranor is gonna be able to clear. No, Ponky's gonna stay tough on the outside. Now allows Jack Merkel, to make a run for the lead. Has nowhere to take his burst of speed, but he is going to buy his time for the time being. Yeah, if my mouse can work. Still side by side. Now they have exchanged positions in terms of which lane they prefer. Tranor now to the top side and Ponky on the inside. Big crossover action so far. 50 laps complete, and that is our second retirement, I believe, at least according to yeah, Kirsten Bell pitting and stated that she'll retire from the race, so that will be our second retirement of the night after the conclusion of 50 laps. So after his gambling attempt for Bryson Baker, not pitting rather, he has fallen out of the draft, saying a 29-0 that last time by. The next car up, Chico Shunome, currently sitting 6th, is set a 28-7 that last time by. This began a battle for 4th rather, Cooper Wall versus JLP. The JLP able to get the better of him. And yeah, there goes Kirsten Bell, so confirmed second retirement. That being Kirsten Bell in the 29 car, she would not be able to go back to back in the Budweiser Cup Series. And we are back to train racing, unfortunately, so it would still be a one stop, as I alluded to, but perhaps with tires are still abrasive to the point where you can't really do too much of pushing, so probably the best reason as to why Another reason could be for no one really challenging each other is just the difference of fuel load. Someone may try to take 1 can, someone may try half a can, I don't think a splash will get you to the end, but someone's probably gonna try that. It's not like iRacing where you can pick a specific amount of fuel to put into your car. There's only 5 options, if I'm correct. Taking no fuel, taking a splash, taking half a can, taking 1 can, 1.5 cans, and 2 cans. So 6 options rather. Right now with a 40 lap green flag run to the end, hopefully. We are 15 laps into the run, and it's just a matter of who takes what fuel load. And maybe fuel load may not even matter anymore because tires can still play a huge difference. 2 versus 4, much like we saw with Rising Baker. Even 2 versus none, Kirsten Bell was able to pounce for the lead. Pinky Punky did take 2 tires, right sides only if I am correct. He pitted along with the rest of the top 4 at the time, being made up of Trenora, Merkel, and Bell. At least during the green flag stop, and that was on lap 33. Caution came out at lap 35, so only 2 laps on the right side tires compared to the fresher left side tires. And seems to be paying off from so far. But with that caution, it opens up the opportunity for Trenor or Merkel or even JLP, who was the first to pit during the green flag cycle, to try 2 tires this final pit stop. Merkel peeking his way to second, but not close enough to punch his nose in. Cooper Ball once again about to lose the draft along with Shinonome, P5 and P6 respectively, and Bryson Baker still losing time. He said 29.7 that last time, but the leaders are doing 29 once, so losing half a second each lap. So that strategy call to not pit under the caution flag was definitely not the right call. Pavlon has moved himself up to 3rd. Merkel giving up the spot for the time being. Coming to 20 to go this time by, it is Pinky Ponky, your leader, Laura Trenor 2nd, Joseph Laney Pavlon 3rd, Jack Merkel 4th, Cooper Wall 5th, Jukushu Nome 6th, and Rising Baker 7th, 2 DNFs. Out of the 9 car field, that being Kirsten Bell on lap 50, and Bowen Fisher on lap 3. Both of which were caused by spins. On pit lane, Jack Merkel, he'll be the first to tip off the cycle, is dead even. Dead in the middle for the field window. It might be the wrong way. Gotta keep my controls in order. So he'll have fresh tires, and if GLP has anything to go by during the first round, he could potentially challenge for the lead and get the undercuts on the pack. JLP and response pits. Currently, Pinky Punky and Trenor remain on the track, along with Cooper Wall and Shinome, but Wall is pitting as well as Ponky and Tranor. So that will leave Juku Shinonome to be the only car yet to pit. With the right side of his car caved in, he will lead 1 lap at minimum. Merkel has exited his box and as well has been out of the pit lane and has built up a better gap to GLP. I presumed he took to be data cutaway as I was checking on the field, but so if I'm correct, it is Jack Merkel with the provisional lead, and there's a battle for second out of the pits, that being between Ponky and Tronor. Rising Baker with a bad merge in front of GLP. Thankfully, no wreck was caused for him, but that was a really bad merge out of the pit lane for Rising Baker. Chico Shiranome finally pits. He is likely going to take an extensive amount of time preparing the right side of the car. So Jack Merkel now up to the lead, and he'll properly lead the lap this time, this next time round. And we'll see what the gaps look like, because we haven't been able to check in on that. I presume is at least 1/3 of the lap behind. So Merkel retakes the lead, lap 68 of 81. Not much time left for these competitors. And the gap officially is 8.1 seconds, so 3, potentially 4 cars versus Merkel. Do they have enough time to reel in the championship leader? If I were these 3, 4, if Baker finds speed to catch up to them, I would suggest to stay in line and slowly build up, because battling each other will just cost them time, valuable time that could be used to fight against Jack Merkel in the 24 car. Shinome down in P7, group of all P6, they're by themselves, and I think Baker is, yes, he is indeed too far away from the draft, so it is just 3 versus 1. Ponky, Tranor, and Pavlon having to work together to close in the gap. They got 11 laps to make up 6.5 seconds on Jack Merkel. After a late cycle of pit stops, either Merkel took 2 or he only took half a can of fuel, which does reduce time, and assuming he played his cards right, will definitely secure his race win, his 7th one of the season, if he crosses the line first. 10 to go this time by. Got a 29.2 last lap from Merkel versus a 28.4. That is almost a second. They'll definitely wheel in Merkel back before the race ends. Likely at the point of no return, if I had to make an estimated guess. And speaking of fastest laps, let's actually check that out. It is Laura Tranor fastest lap of the race with a 28.301. Merkel's second fastest 23.11. And GLP third with a 28, 3, 2, 1. Merkel trying to push every ounce of speed out of that race car despite being by himself. The faster he goes, the less time that the group of three will have to strategize their way to go for the win. GLP slowly losing the draft now. He is in the brink of gaining a slipstream, which will slow them down, but also the group of two. Oh, caution! The Cooper Wall and Shinonome. Then to turn two. And that will throw a wrench into this race. Drake Merkel wins the race back. It is 6 laps to go. And that will open up the door for everyone. Let's take a look. I'm on board with Shimonome. Down the trial oval. Koopa Wall just flips the throttle on entry. Shimonome was just simply too close to having kind of reaction. And both of them go around. It looked to be only a one-car accident, but then Koopa Wall, even after recovering the car, gets sideswiped by the 51 as he was trying to avoid that 51 car. Yep. Well, that's not a good camera angle, and to be frank, I don't think there is to see the contact. I'll leave for our chase if I can't use a TV cam. Yeah, right there, that's enough to send the 37 car spinning and trigger the caution. Second one of the day, and likely the final one, as we are at the, well, we're about to hit the point of return as Cooper Wall hits Trenor and pit stall. Jack Merkel wins off pit lane with Ponky second, Trenor third, Pavlov fourth, Eisenbaker back into the action, fifth place. And we're just waiting on these two, who were the cause of caution. Cooper Ball exits as well as Shimonome. We're going green this time actually, so get the most amount of laps possible. Don't know what that was about. Question from Ponky, but should be. I don't know. I think he's asking whether or not they can go to the apron after the green flag. I presume so. Most leagues allow it. Set this up and late restart from Las Vegas. 7 cars remain in the race, being led by championship leader Jack Merkel. It is green flag from Las Vegas. We are at the point of no return. And Ponky didn't have a best of starts. Now they're side by side with GLP for second, allowing Jack Merkel to take a fresh breath of air. Oh, Ponky way up the track. That forces GLP to respond. And they'll remain side by side, though doing anything but catching Merkel 3 laps left. It's gonna be Baker and Trenor for P4. Neither of them really have anywhere to go due to the fight per second near contact between 69 and 68, but neither of them hit the other. And 2 laps to go now, and they have now reeled in Jack Perkle once again, much like they should have done in the prior run before the late race caution. Here we go. Hockey's gonna have to build up enough speed to pass a 24 car final lap from Las Vegas. I hit the wrong key byte again, god damn it. But final lap, here comes Bonky. Still remaining side by side down the backstretch. Win number 1 versus win number 7. Trenor tried making a move, but nowhere to take it. But it is Pinky Ponky out of turn 4. He's clear on Merkel and will get win number 1 at Las Vegas. This abomination of a race car has won a race. I'm dumbfounded, really. What a fantastic battle to win this race. Take a look at it. Just build up a run 2, 3, and 4 last lap, and he's able to pounce down a triangle and just take him side by side. He's able to keep position. Wasn't phased by Trenor's late peak to make it 3 wide. And with the turn 4 being tricky, he used it to his advantage, and that allowed him to win the race over Jack Merkel. Finally, someone dethroned this man. Well, properly this time. Last week, or Michigan was the exception. Backwards burnout, that's why I like to see out Pinky Ponky. So, well, Jack Merkel didn't win the race this time around. That I don't think it threw a wrench into the championship this time around, given the runner-up finish as his consolation prize. So, finishing results that Pinky Ponky first career win, I'm pretty sure, for the newbie. Jack Merkel P2 with Trenor P3, Landy Pavlon P4, Rising Baker P5, Cooper Ball P6, Chico Shionome P7, and the last car to finish, Kirsten Bell and Bowman Fisher, your 2 DNFs of tonight's race. And, well, I do have to wrap it up soon anyway, because I am scheduled to broadcast NR, but this race took longer than expected. Actually, qualifying is right now. I probably should join the server at very minimum. So, right now, actually, on Cheese Food Media is now at the Rockingham, the penultimate race of their championship. Stephen Gibson looks to clinch up the championship. I'll join there shortly. Tomorrow, OSCC Iowa will also be their penultimate race of the season. It is between Landon Isle and Robbie Gilbert to make up the most amount of points they can before they miss the finale. Harry Crawford also in the wings in that fight. Afterwards, ASEX is hosting a one-off event. This being a full-length Daytona 500. It is slated to be broadcasted on Cheesefood Media, but that will remain to be seen. And then Sunday, DSRA hits Talladega for the second and final super speedway of the season. And Tuesday, also I didn't put this in, but BPR is back with the Clash that will take place Tuesday. I do have a dedicated graphics package for that league as I am hosting or broadcasting the full season, so you shall see the little dedicated graphic. But until then, as